Nicotine, not kids. Warriors, I am up at arms. Let me explain what I'm talking about. I heard, I think yesterday, that the Biden administration, and don't hold me to the exact words, was going to be reducing the nicotine in cigarettes. Now, we can all agree that cigarettes are bad, and we certainly don't advise here at the Warriors that you smoke or your children smoke. But something doesn't sit right with me with that entire story, reducing the nicotine in cigarettes. Then this morning, Juul, the Juul tobacco, the vaping, I heard something about, and I've been running around all day, Warriors, taking them out of stores, banning them, something to that effect. And I thought to myself, wow, if the Biden administration can do that, if the Biden administration and here in New York State where I live can enact new gun laws so fast, nothing for the kids. That's why I said nicotine, not kids. The internet safety should be first and foremost on the Biden's administration and their agenda. And also New York State, all of our states. It's a national health crisis. And I call it a health crisis because you don't need me to tell you, because I'm always telling you that the internet is like opening your front door and welcoming in strangers. And you would never do that, right? You would never hold up your phone in a parking lot and say, here's my daughter. Come look at pictures of my daughter in our home or son. You would never do that. So if the government, if big tech really wanted to shut down all of this CSAM, child sexual abuse material, rampant and escalating online, they could do it. I've been told by my sources, the technology's there, they could shut it down. They could certainly, because remember, the predators are always 10 steps ahead. They're that good. They could at least make a tremendous dent in getting this stuff off of our kids' devices, phones, laptops, tablets, gaming consoles. Again, another warning was just put out that boys are being targeted. Most boys are on the gaming consoles. And boys, young men, our youth. And remember, Warriors, wherever the kids are, so are the predators. Therefore, they are grooming online through the games, the gaming apps, and this whole thing of sextortion, which is demanding money or services in exchange, for nude images, sexual dialogue. And we have kids killing themselves over it because they're too embarrassed, or they feel so threatened and bullied. And I've been really thinking a lot about bullying these days. That's not even the right word. Something we may have grown up with. We considered bullying, because bullying's always been around, right? And it was always, ignore the bully. This is a new level. I don't know what the word is for it, this cyberbullying, where we have these criminals directing kids and teens to do things, and the kids are complying because they're so frightened. And why are they complying? So we know we have a youth mental health problem. But, to hear, okay, we can take care of, nicotine, but not kids. What's going on with the border? We have a government that is complicit in human trafficking. We have rape houses. We have rape trees on the border. I'm not making this up. Where are all these children coming over? This border, where are they being flown into? What's happening to them? We don't know. We don't know. We have a government complicit. I'm tired of it. I only want to work now with the Warriors, real boots on the ground. There are so many organizations and coalitions, so much talk going on, no action. The Warriors wants action. The Warriors is creating action. I did my radio program today, Lynn's Warriors. I make it easy for you because everything's called Lynn's Warriors or the Warriors. So please follow along. And I had my good friend, Freedom Warrior, Landon Starbuck on. She's also a member of the Warriors Advisory Council, and she's down in Tennessee. And Landon left Hollywood. She had a a great musical career, on the rise, met her husband, a musical director. And you know what? They packed up their bags. They had enough of that place. This was about 3 years ago. And they headed on down to Tennessee to create a new life with their 3 beautiful children. And Landon started a wonderful American nonprofit, Freedom Forever, recently. That website is freedomforever.us, or think US, freedomforever.us, to address all of these issues that we, at the Warriors talk about, because she is a true warrior, really getting the work done. And Landon and I believe that if we do what we're doing, we intervene in homes and communities, on this local level, and travel and educate others, and it snowballs and we get others to become warriors with us, we can definitely create change. We've already created change. We're very realistic women. We understand, look what we're up against with the border. Look what we're up against. They're reducing nicotine in cigarettes and taking Juul out of stores and all this stuff they can do, but they cannot do anything for the kids. And I'm tired of, skipping around it and being a little bit careful about this issue, because I've had it, because our kids are the product. Our kids are the ones being viciously attacked. There is a war on for our children, and you may not see the war, warriors, but there is a war on for their minds. There's a war on now for their bodies, right? That you're seeing through the school systems. There was a war on, I've had many parents, I'm here in New York City. And if you're familiar at all with the area, we're right next door to New Jersey, which I frequent quite a bit, being I'm from Jersey originally, a lot of family and friends there. And the Fair Lawn, which is Bergen County in New Jersey, there's an issue this weekend for their Pride event that they are having drag queen story hour, and people don't want it. Now, people are contacting me yesterday and today about this. What should they do? They have spoken to the library. The library claims the board of the library makes these decisions. They can't do anything. And I'm like, warriors, just don't go. Spread the word to other, friends, family members, that this is happening in your community, not to attend. I mean, unless you want to attend, that's your prerogative with your child. I think to have a scary looking man jumping around in front of children to promote literacy and to promote inclusivity, because that is the drag queen story hour line, to promote literacy and inclusivity. Well, then we should have a warriors storybook hour. We should, actually, that's a good idea. I'll have to work on that one. We should have the policeman's story hour, fireman's story hour, right? We should have all kinds of story hours. Not these big, scary, crazed looking people around 2, 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Think about it. I can't actually, let's move on. But what happened is Monday night, I was in Fort Lee, New Jersey, which is near Fair Lawn, not too far away, Bergen County. And the same story was repeated to me, that they recently at their library had drag queen story hour, and they tried to fight it. Not even fight it. They tried to say, who voted on this? Can we have more information about this? As opposed to, here's the sign hanging up in front of the library. Nobody seems to know anything. It's like the border. Nobody seems to know where these children are being brought to. My fear is something we have to start addressing, and we don't. On top of all these issues, the foster care system is a hotbed for human trafficking. We have reports right now that girls and women in sex trafficking, over 60% of them have been through the foster care system. Now, remember what the Warriors always says, if it's 62%, it's higher, because not everything's reported. Say it's even 65 or 70% coming through that foster care system. I work with survivors. I work with prostitutes. I can tell you, they all tell me their stories. Any one of them that has been in group homes, foster care system, almost all of them have been sexually abused or approached to be trafficked. Nobody's talking about this. So I believe they're taking a lot of these children from the border and they're shipping them into these different group homes in different states. And these group homes are getting money from the federal government, which boils down to more human trafficking. Everything's against us, warriors. That is why we must come together. We must educate ourselves. We must intervene, not let any of this happen to our children, ourselves, because it's our families when it happens to your child. And I want to remind you that June is Internet Safety Awareness Month. So a great thing, to combine that, and it's also PTSD Awareness Month, which the children are getting. We have the studies from spending too much time online. And schools are either out or will be out by the end of this week. In New York City, we finished this week very late. Use this month of June, Internet Safety, as we move towards the end of the month, to start the conversation. The kids are out of school, meaning they'll spend more time online. Let's be realistic. We're not going to be able to get them, out of their cocoon of they've grown up with this. It's not their fault, and it's not your fault. This is what the world is, but we're going to leverage now the internet and these apps and these platforms for good, right? We're going to make the kids our digital partners. We're going to create digital trust. But we need to, as school winds down, we know the kids will want to spend more time online. We know that kids are more isolated than ever. And we're going to use this month and we're going to start the conversation. And I tell you this all the time, we're going to open up communication. We are going to use the end of school to, if you live in a city like I do, you can take a walk with your children. You can go to a museum. You can take a boat ride. You can go to a zoo. You can, if your child is a tween or teen, there's a couple of volunteer things, I'm sure, in your community, in your city you can do. This all applies also to towns. I have listed, if you live, let me not jump ahead with that. If you live in the suburbs, I don't have to tell you this, or out in the country, I don't care if you plant something. I don't care if you go horseback riding. Get outside, run around the backyard in circles, because we know being outside promotes well-being. We know it builds stronger bodies. It builds up the immunity. We also know that being outside relieves anxiety, and our kids are suffering so greatly from anxiety, right? Because we as adults are, and that filters down. The kids pick up on everything about us and transfer it onto them, but they definitely are suffering anxiety. And so we want to get them outside. We want to get them running around. If it's a half hour, hour a day, just start there, warriors. Get it going. Get it going where you cook something together or prepare a meal. Let's get back to basics. Sounds kind of corny, but I don't care. Have to. It's gone so far into the crazy with our kids that we must communicate, because I know if they don't hear information from you, they're going to hear it elsewhere, whether online, whether a friend of theirs, the schools, which are a mess. You want facts and truths coming out of your mouth. These are your precious children. So let's use June as Internet Safety Awareness Month to start really opening up. Let's talk about, changing passwords on our devices once a month. Let's talk about, doing that together, or just letting the child do it, kind of thing. Let's just keep working together and build this digital trust. Let's make sure talk to your kids. It can be while you're preparing that dinner or sitting down to dinner. Little Susie, what games are you playing online? Oh, Susie, do you know everybody you play with, or are some of them strangers? Let's go there, and then go into the safety features and filters blocking. Your children definitely, you've got to work on this. Warriors should not be engaging with strangers. We know as of March 2022, a couple of months ago, that the usage for tweens and teens has increased. I'm just going to round it off, upwards in the last year of an hour more. Okay. So we have the teens spending, again, I'm rounding it off, up to about 8 is the average, 8 hours a day. My goodness, how do you sleep and eat and focus and do other things? And the tweens, okay, are spending a little under 7 hours. Completely frightening. But what's really frightening is that there is a study with 8-year-olds, and 8-year-olds are spending more time than ever online. It has increased greatly, and they're online on Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Now, those platforms are developed for 13 and older. 8-year-olds are on, they're seeing things, they're being exposed to things they shouldn't be. You have to know what your kids are doing. So warriors, as the summer is here, the kids are out of school, get back to basics, start with the 30 minutes a day, increase it to an hour. Got to do it. Get outside, play, have fun, anything. And I leave you also with, if you decide, as many parents do use day camps and summer sleepaway camps, I don't care what it says online about this camp, accreditation, anything. If you decide that you are going to send your child to camp, please, I beg of you to do background checks, find out all of the employees, and do background checks and talk to your children. And with that, warriors, I want to urge you also to just sign up for my newsletter. A new one went out today. I'll be resending that in 2 days. I usually wait 2 days and resend it to those who haven't opened it. I am so, I want you to get this information that media is not telling you, but we're telling you here at the Warriors. So go to linswarriors.org. Please always consider donating. We need money to run our education system, which will be rolling out fall 2022. And also we support survivors, because all of this talk and all of these groups and coalitions, warriors, very little. I want action. I want real results. Very little I'm seeing trickle down to survivors, victims of human trafficking, but at the Warriors we support. And whether it's buying them food, paying a medical bill, transportation money, toiletries, whatever we help with, we help them. And that is why also I remind you, our good friend Landon Starbuck, freedomforever.us, is doing a wonderful, wonderful job. And she is our partner. And on our advisory council, we want real warriors. We want the real work getting done. And we want you along with us. If you have any questions or comments, please always reach out to me, Lynn at linswarriors.org. Sign up for that newsletter. Go to the linswarriors.org website. Scroll down on the right side. It says e-newsletter, very easy. And just please, I want you and your children to be given this information that I spend almost 24 hours a day studying, collating, working with NYPD, getting facts from Homeland Security. Take action, intervene, prevention, come together. Always be a warrior.